Hey there, welcome to AM Podcast, where I talk about topics of healing, holistic movement, and well-being. And because life is holistic itself, I reach into all types of topics ranging from nutrition, psychology, art and culture, sustainability, skincare, and much more. And because I'm not an expert in all of these topics, I will invite over some guests to talk about it so you can enjoy a great learning experience. And today's first episode will be about light space movement, which is something I created in the beginning as a space for people to meet, to learn about movement, healing movement, exchange. So the studio I opened at the end of the year 2018. And it was quite a coincidence, and actually fits very well with the name and the story of the connection to art. We were actually searching for a space for our art gallery, Wild Palms, and then after a whole year of searching every day, we found this beautiful space, which was way too big of what we thought of, but it gave the opportunity to open up a space for movement, for yoga. And which is really beautiful because you actually have to walk through the exhibition to go upstairs to my studio, which is separated from the gallery, but you have this immersive experience of entering into a new place, leaving things behind or coming back with different eyes through the experience back out. So it's actually a really nice way of entering into a yoga studio, which is, in my opinion, very unique and again fits very much with a name that was inspired by art. So light space movement, the name was inspired by art actually. So when I was living in New York, I went to this really beautiful exhibition by Doug Wheeler, which is an artist from the movement Light in Space, and he created spaces just with light that completely lost any sense of perspective. So when you were standing in a room, because there was nowhere to focus with your eyes, you couldn't make out where the walls ended, where the floor started, where the ceiling started. And I thought, oh my goodness, this must be such a great experience, or would be a really great experience if you would be able to move or have a movement practice in such a space. So normally when people stand on a leg, try to balance, they always use their eyes to focus. So they focus on something which gives them the balance and stability. And it is a really nice exercise when you don't have that. So you actually have to look inside of you and find other things to focus on, to concentrate, whether it is your breath, whether it's actually connecting with your body and feeling where is my balance. So I thought that would be such a perfect fit for a name for something that has to do with movement, with connecting with what's around you. A very, very long story about the movement part of the name, and it really comes back to, first of all, I think everything that is alive moves. So any organism that is alive moves, and once we stop moving, there's not much life left. So this is a very interesting thing if you think about being mobile, being movable, and losing that mobility and losing the movement. And I have a super long health story myself, where I lost my mobility in various ways and I had to regain it. So this story of regaining it and just putting attention to movement and what it actually does, how great you feel when you move and when you're able to move and when you regain movement, to me I became so passionate about that. Plus it's also really beautiful, the thing, like if you move, if animals move, if you move in a way where you're really connected with your body, where that movement comes out of your center, it just looks so beautiful. There's such a great aesthetic about movement, about things that flow. the idea of flow state, about water, for example, when water runs down, or anything that is moving, it becomes such a beautiful thing to watch. So that's why for me, light, space, movement was the perfect fit. So the space that I created transformed a little bit and grew a little bit into all different types of forms and shapes. So my biggest focus is trying to teach people things, try to help people connect with themselves in the best applicable way that they can take knowledge back home and actually apply it to their everyday lives. And there are different ways that you can do that. So if you come obviously regular to a course, that is something that really helps. So the more you do something, the better you become at it and the more integrated it will be into your life. But I really do like also these intense moments where you just take days to concentrate on something. And I thought it would be a really nice format to use the retreat format as a way to take time to put attention to movement, to how you feel, to feeling better. But what I wanted to try is to put this idea of the retreat into an environment that contains certain aspects that are very close to home, so very close to your daily life. So a retreat where you can actually eat things that are delicious, that are not restricting. So you eat pasta, you eat things that are nourishing, but at the same time things that you can also do at home. So you don't have to miss out. And also, for example, if you think about the idea of wine, so these are things that I try to focus a little bit on in my retreats, is the aspect of movement, that you have tools that you can take back home. The other aspect, really important for me, is mindfulness. So anything that you can do, you can overdo, you can do not enough. But if you're mindful about it, you will find a way to do it in a balanced way that suits you. So, for example, instead of being like, oh, you cannot do this, you cannot do that, you're not allowed to drink alcohol, you have to detox, you can also find a way where you're mindful about it, where you actually notice, how does it feel when I drink it? How does it taste? How does it smell? So when you go back home and you're confronted with situations where there is alcohol, or if you want to drink a wine in the evening, you don't have this like super harsh contrast from your experience, which was a well-being, healthy experience that you had in your retreat, but something that is closer, more similar. So things that you can take back home that you learned on your retreat that you can apply home. And so the retreat format was something I thought was really interesting to include into my program, because it's really a nice way of not only enjoying life and coming together and learning great things, but also it gives you an intense learning experience where you actually gain tools that you can take back home. So before I talk too much about the retreats, I'm very thankful that you tuned in to my very first episode, and in the next one I will talk about the retreats a little bit more in depth, so you have an idea what to expect, how everything works, what my understanding of a luxury yoga retreat is, and yeah, hopefully you enjoy it. Thank you.